I see the heavy, silent tears you cry when you think absolutely no one is watching. But before we uncover the incredible, life-altering blessing that is waiting for you right now, please consider subscribing to our channel and joining our community if this message brings comfort to your heart. You have been carrying a weight that was never meant to be yours alone. For months, perhaps even years, you have been the strong one, the pillar for everyone else, the one who smiles through the pain and offers a hand, even when your own arms are trembling from exhaustion. You give and you give, pouring out your soul into people and situations, often receiving nothing but silence, ungratefulness, and emptiness in return. There is a deep, profound ache in your chest, a quiet desperation that whispers in the dark hours of the night, asking if all this effort, all this love, all this relentless sacrifice actually matters. You have walked through valleys so dark that you couldn't even see your own hands in front of your face, navigating by sheer blind faith when every logical part of your mind was screaming at you to just give up and let it all crash down. The world sees your put-together exterior, your polite nods, your reassuring words, but heaven sees the raw, bleeding edges of your spirit. Heaven sees the times you sat in your car in the driveway for 10 extra minutes just to gather the strength to walk through your front door and face another evening of crushing responsibilities. You might feel entirely forgotten right now, completely overlooked by a universe that seems to reward the selfish while punishing the kind. You look around and see people who cut corners, who step on others, who manipulate their way to the top, seemingly enjoying the fruits of a life you have worked so honestly to build. It creates a sickening knot in your stomach, a bitter taste of injustice that makes you question your own core values. You wonder if being the bigger person was actually just a foolish mistake. You think about the times you bit your tongue when you had every right to scream, the times you chose forgiveness when vengeance was fully justified, and the times you handed over your last bit of energy to someone who didn't even bother to say thank you. The enemy wants you to believe that your goodness is your weakness, that your silent sacrifices have merely evaporated into the void, completely unnoticed and entirely wasted. But there is a massive shifting reality happening just behind the veil of your current struggles. A divine orchestration that you are completely unaware of. What you perceived as a season of endless barrenness was actually a season of intense, underground root building. Let us journey into the reality of what your daily life has actually looked like. Think about that specific morning when you woke up feeling like a heavy concrete block was resting on your chest. The alarm went off, and the sheer dread of facing another financially strained, emotionally draining day almost paralyzed you. Yet you threw off the covers. You made the coffee. You packed the lunches. You went to that job that drains your spirit. Or you stayed home to care for a loved one whose health is failing, watching them fade while your own heart slowly broke into a million unfixable pieces. You skipped the meal so your children could have seconds. You quietly paid the utility bill for a struggling friend, while ignoring the late notices piling up on your own kitchen counter. You listened for 3 hours on the phone to a friend complaining about their minor inconveniences, all while you were secretly wondering how you were going to survive the week. These were not just nice gestures. These were pieces of your actual life force, freely given in the dark. You assumed these moments just slipped away into the chaos of human existence. But you are about to discover the staggering truth of what actually happens to a sacrifice made in secret. There was a specific night, not too long ago, that marked a turning point in the spiritual realm, even if you felt completely destroyed in the physical one. You remember the cold bathroom floor. You remember the feeling of your knees giving out, the physical inability to hold the tears back anymore. The sobbing was so violent it shook your ribcage, and the only prayer you could manage to force past your lips was a broken, desperate gasp of, "Please, God, I can't do this anymore. Help me." in that exact moment of absolute surrender, when the last drop of your self-reliance was completely drained, a massive shift occurred. You thought you were experiencing a mental and emotional breakdown, but heaven recorded it as a breakthrough. You see, as long as you were trying to hold the universe together with your own two hands, divine intervention was waiting on the sidelines, honoring your free will. But the second you shattered on that floor, the second you admitted your profound weakness, you inadvertently turned the lock on a door you didn't even know existed. The universe operates on a fundamental law of spiritual physics that the modern world has entirely forgotten. Whatever is buried in the dark, with pure intentions and zero demand for applause, must eventually erupt into the light as a multiplied harvest. Because you did not seek the validation of men, because you did not post your sacrifices on social media for validation, because you did not keep a bitter ledger demanding repayment from those you helped, your account was transferred to a much higher authority. You have bypassed the earthly reward system entirely. When you do a good deed and receive praise, that praise is your reward. The transaction is complete and closed. But your hidden sacrifices created a massive, echoing vacuum in the spiritual realm. And divine justice abhors a vacuum. It must be filled. And it is never filled with merely an equal measure. It is pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Right now, a portal of infinite divine blessings has been ripped open over your life, directly above the very areas where you experienced your greatest losses. This isn't about some superficial, fleeting stroke of good luck. This is about deep, generational, foundational transformation. You are about to notice strange things happening. It will start small, a subtle shift in the atmosphere of your home. The heavy, suffocating anxiety that usually grips your chest the moment you open your eyes in the morning will mysteriously vanish, replaced by a bizarre, unexplainable peace that makes absolutely no logical sense given your current circumstances. Then, the practical manifestations will begin to flow through this newly opened portal. A phone call you stopped waiting for will suddenly ring. An application that was denied will be miraculously pulled from the bottom of the stack and reconsidered without your prompting. People who previously misunderstood you or actively opposed you will suddenly find their hearts softened, going out of their way to offer favor, resources, and open doors. You will find yourself stepping into rooms and opportunities that your resume, your background, and your bank account say you have absolutely no business being in. But the most profound healing will happen inside your own mind. You have lived in survival mode for so long that your nervous system believes chaos is the normal baseline of existence. You have forgotten what it feels like to just breathe without anticipating the next disaster. Through this open portal, a wave of divine restoration is rushing in to rewire your trauma. The memories that used to paralyze you with shame, the past failures that the enemy constantly plays on a loop in your head to keep you chained down, will suddenly lose their emotional sting. You will look back at the people who betrayed you, the ones who walked away when you needed them most, and instead of a burning rage or a hollow grief, you will feel a genuine, detached pity. You will realize that their betrayal was actually the painful but necessary surgery required to remove their toxic influence from the phenomenal future you are about to step into. They could not go where you are going. Their departure was not your rejection, it was your ultimate protection. You might be asking, if this portal of blessing is real, why did I have to suffer so much first? Why the agonizing delay? This is the hardest truth to swallow, but it is the key to sustaining what is coming. If the immense blessing you are about to receive had been handed to you 3 years ago, or even 3 months ago, it would have destroyed you. You did not have the character, the discernment, or the emotional bandwidth to manage it. The pain, the waiting, the silent tears, they were not a punishment from a cruel dictator in the sky. They were the intense heat of the refiner's fire. The impurities of pride, impatience, and toxic attachments had to be burned away. Your roots had to be driven so deep into the bedrock of unwavering faith that when the heavy winds of immense success, financial breakthrough, and profound influence finally hit your branches, you would not be uprooted. Your hidden sacrifices were the heavy weights at the gym, tearing your spiritual muscles so they could grow back exponentially stronger. You are not a victim of your circumstances. You are a masterwork in the final stages of intense preparation. Consider the story of a seed. When you hold a tiny dried seed in your hand, it looks dead. It looks worthless. To make it grow, you have to do something that seems incredibly violent and counterintuitive. You have to bury it in absolute darkness. You must throw dirt on top of it. You must drown it in water. If that seed had a consciousness, it would scream in terror, believing it had been buried alive to rot and be forgotten. It feels the crushing weight of the soil, the suffocating lack of oxygen, the terrifying isolation from the warmth of the sun. But in that terrifying, dark isolation, a miracle occurs. The hard outer shell of the seed begins to break apart. It is a painful, destructive process, but only through that breaking can the life inside reach out, grabbing onto the soil, finding the nutrients, and eventually pushing its way through the heavy dirt to break the surface and see the sun. Your love has been that seed. You have felt buried. You have felt the crushing dirt of financial ruin, broken relationships, and shattered dreams being piled on top of you. You thought you were buried, but the divine truth is that you were planted, and right now the shell is breaking. The first green shoot of your new life is about to break the surface. Prepare yourself for the shock of sudden acceleration. The portal of divine blessing does not operate on human timelines. Humans build brick by brick, a slow, exhausting process of addition. The divine operates in the realm of exponential multiplication. What would normally take a human being 20 years of grinding, networking, and striving to accomplish, this open portal is going to manifest in your life in a matter of months. You are going to experience the phenomenon of time collapse. You will look at your bank accounts, your health, your family dynamics, and your personal joy, and you will be utterly bewildered at how rapidly the landscape of your reality has transformed. You will try to explain it to your friends, but the words will fail you, because logic cannot articulate the mathematics of a miracle. You will simply have to shake your head, point upward, and say, "I have no idea how this happened. I only know who made it happen." There is a specific situation in your life right now that seems entirely dead. It is a dream you have quietly placed on the shelf, covered it in a sheet, and decided to never look at again because the disappointment of hoping for it was too agonizing. Maybe it is a deeply fractured relationship with a child or a parent that seems beyond repair. Maybe it is a business idea that failed spectacularly, leaving you in debt and humiliation. Maybe it is a medical diagnosis that the doctors have stamped as permanent and irreversible. I need you to mentally walk over to that dead thing right now. Pull the sheet off of it. Blow the dust away. Because the energy pouring through this portal of blessing is resurrection power. The divine breath is about to blow through the dry bones of your abandoned dreams. You are going to watch with wide-eyed disbelief as the impossible begins to breathe, stretch, and stand up on its own 2 feet. The very thing that caused you the most profound humiliation is going to be the exact stage where your greatest victory is publicly displayed. The people who mocked your struggle will be forced to quietly witness your spectacular rising. But to fully receive what is coming through this portal, you have to do one incredibly difficult thing. You have to completely let go of the pain of the past. You cannot hold on to the new blessing with hands that are still tightly clenched into fists of resentment. You have to forgive the people who hurt you. Not because they have apologized, not because they deserve it, and certainly not because what they did was okay. You must forgive them because your destiny is entirely too important to remain anchored to their toxicity. Unforgiveness is a heavy, dark chain that will keep you tethered to the very frequency of the trauma you are trying to escape. Release them to divine justice. Take your hands off the wheel of vengeance. The moment you truly say, "I release the debt they owe me," You sever the final energetic cord holding you back, and the full force of the blessing will hit you like a tidal wave. You must also forgive yourself. The enemy loves to keep you trapped in a cycle of regret, replaying your worst mistakes, your foolish financial decisions, the times you trusted the wrong people, the moments you lost your temper and hurt the ones you love. You sit in the dark and punish yourself, believing that because you are flawed, you have disqualified yourself from the blessing. Listen very closely. Divine grace does not require perfection. It only requires a willing, humble heart. Your mistakes were factored into the plan long before you ever made them. The portal is not opening because you were flawless. It is opening because you were faithful in the fire, even when you stumbled. The grace pouring out right now is washing away the stain of every past failure. You are being handed a completely blank slate. Stop reading the old chapters of your life when the author is trying to hand you a brand new book. Imagine stepping outside after a massive, terrifying hurricane. For hours you huddled in the dark, listening to the wind tear the roof apart, hearing the trees snap, feeling the foundation of your house literally shake, terrified that you are not going to survive the night. But eventually, the howling stops. You cautiously open the door and step out. The air is incredibly still, cool, and clean. The dark clouds have broken, and brilliant golden sunlight is pouring through the gaps. Everywhere you look, the dead wood, the rotting branches, and the unstable structures have been violently cleared away. Yes, the storm was terrifying, but it did a cleansing work that a gentle breeze never could have accomplished. That is exactly where you are standing right now. The spiritual hurricane that has battered your life for the past few years is finally over. It felt like it came to destroy you, but its actual purpose was to clear out every single thing, person, and mindset that was not sturdy enough to survive in the next elevated chapter of your life. The destruction was actually preparation. Now, as you stand in the aftermath, the portal above you is widening. I need you to intentionally shift your posture. Stop walking with your shoulders slumped, staring at the ground, bracing for the next disaster. Lift your head. Take a deep, expanding breath into your lungs. You have survived the breaking. You have endured the crushing. Your hidden sacrifices, those beautiful, painful, quiet gifts of love and endurance, have reached the throne room. The scales of justice are tipping massively in your favor. Infinite divine blessings, peace that surpasses understanding, joy that bubbles up for absolutely no reason, provision that overflows your capacity to store it, and purpose that sets your soul on fire, are literally rushing toward you at this very second. Step boldly into the light of this new day. Open your hands, release the past, and receive the magnificent, overflowing harvest that you so deeply deserve. There is a very specific, hollow ache that settles into your bones when you have given absolutely everything you have to people who do not even realize you are bleeding. You know this feeling intimately. It is the quiet, suffocating exhaustion that greets you before you even open your eyes in the morning. A heavy blanket of dread, woven from years of being the dependable one, the strong one, the one who absorbs everyone else's chaos while silently drowning in your own. You have spent your life mastering the art of the brave face. You have perfected the gentle smile that says, "I'm fine, I can handle it," while inside your spirit is fractured, crying out for just a single moment of rest, a single person to look at you and say, "Put it down, let me carry you for a while." But that person never seems to come. Instead, the demands keep piling up. The expectations grow heavier. You have found yourself standing in the shower, letting the hot water run just to mask the sound of your own sobbing, terrified that if you let the grief fully out, it might never actually stop. You have sat at your kitchen table at 3 in the morning, the house completely silent except for the hum of the refrigerator, staring at a stack of bills or a heartbreaking medical report, or a text message that shattered your trust, wondering how you are supposed to survive the sheer weight of your own existence. In these isolated, agonizing moments, a dark whisper tries to convince you that heaven has turned its back on you. You look out into the world and see a baffling, painful injustice. You see individuals who lie, cheat, and step on the necks of others to get ahead, and they seem to be living lives of absolute ease and luxury. They sleep soundly, while you toss and turn in a cold sweat of anxiety. You have watched people who treated you with shocking cruelty move on with their lives, seemingly unbothered by the destruction they left in your heart. And then you look at your own hands, hands that have served, hands that have cared for the sick, hands that have given away the last dollar, hands that have built others up, while your own dreams crumbled to dust, and you wonder why those hands are currently empty. The temptation to become completely cynical, to shut your heart down permanently, to build a wall of cold indifference around yourself, is overwhelmingly strong right now. You have caught yourself thinking, what is the point of being good? What is the point of doing the right thing when it only brings me pain? But there is a profound, staggering reality occurring just beyond the limits of your physical vision, and it is entirely centered around the very things you thought were wasted. You must understand that in the divine economy, nothing is ever lost, and absolutely no genuine sacrifice goes unrecorded. You thought your quiet acts of endurance were just a survival mechanism, but heaven saw them as an offering. Remember the time you took the blame for something you didn't do, just to keep the fragile peace in your family. Remember the opportunity you quietly turned down because you knew your aging parent or your struggling child needed you at home. Remember the nights you prayed fiercely for the success of a friend, even while your own life felt utterly stagnant and forgotten. You didn't post those moments on the internet. You didn't demand an audience. You swallowed your pride, you buried your disappointment, and you chose love over self-preservation. In doing so, you bypassed the superficial temporary rewards of this earth. You sent your treasures directly into the highest spiritual dimension. Because of this profound, hidden integrity, a monumental shift has just been authorized in the heavens. A portal of infinite, cascading divine blessing has been unlocked over your specific timeline, and it is directly connected to the exact areas where you experienced your most agonizing deficits. You have been looking at your life like a master weaver's tapestry, but you have only been allowed to see the back of it. From your perspective, it looks like a chaotic, senseless mess of tangled knots, frayed ends, and dark, ugly colors that make no logical sense. You have stared at this mess and wept, believing your life was ruined by random tragedy and unfair circumstances. But the Master Weaver is about to turn the tapestry around. You are about to see the front. You are about to realize that every single dark thread of pain, every frayed knot of betrayal, and every chaotic twist of delay was being meticulously woven together to create a masterpiece of blessing so breathtaking, so expansive, that it will bring you to your knees in absolute awe. The manifestation of this open portal will not announce itself with loud trumpets. It will begin as a subtle, undeniable shift in your internal atmosphere. For years, your nervous system has been trapped in a state of high alert, constantly bracing for the next piece of bad news, the next emergency, the next heartbreaking disappointment. But very soon, you will wake up and realize that the tight, gripping sensation in your chest is simply gone. You will take a breath, and for the first time in what feels like a lifetime, the air will go all the way down into your lungs. A bizarre, completely illogical peace will settle over your mind. Your circumstances might not have completely changed in that exact second, but your spirit will suddenly know, with an unshakable, rock-solid certainty, that the war is over. You will feel the warmth of divine favor wrapping around you like a heavy protective coat in the middle of a bitter winter. This internal healing is the necessary foundation for the external miracles that are about to flood your reality. The portal is pouring out a rapid acceleration of time. The doors that have been slammed in your face, padlocked, and guarded for years are going to swing wide open with a single, effortless breath of divine intervention. You are going to step into rooms where your qualifications on paper do not make sense, but the favor on your life will demand you be seated at the table. A financial knot that has kept you up at night, strangled your choices, and made you feel like a failure is going to be untangled so swiftly and miraculously that you will spend hours just staring at the resolution, utterly bewildered by the grace of it. The universe is going to arrange seemingly random, coincidental encounters, a chance meeting in a grocery store aisle, a misdirected email, a sudden thought to call an old acquaintance that will serve as the exact stepping stones to a profound breakthrough in your career, your ministry, or your personal calling. You must also prepare your heart for the miraculous restoration of things you genuinely believed were dead forever. I know you are terrified to hope again. I know that every time you have allowed yourself to feel a spark of optimism in the past, it felt like the universe cruelly blew it out, leaving you in an even darker place than before. The thought of letting your guard down, of believing that something beautiful is actually coming to you, feels incredibly dangerous. You have protected yourself by expecting the worst. But the divine instruction for you right now is to dare to dream again. Reach into the graveyard of your abandoned hopes. Look at the relationship that seems permanently shattered beyond all human repair. Look at the creative passion that you buried because life forced you to be practical and survive. The resurrection energy flowing through this portal is seeking out those exact dead places. You are going to witness a breath of life enter the dry bones of your past. Apologies you never thought you would hear are going to be spoken. Reconciliations that seemed physically impossible will unfold with a gentle, beautiful grace. As you step into this season of infinite blessing, you must fundamentally change how you view the people who walked away from you during your darkest hours. The sting of their abandonment has been a heavy anchor around your neck. You have agonized over what you did wrong, why you weren't enough to make them stay, and how they could so easily forget your loyalty. You must hear this divine truth. Their departure was not a reflection of your worth. It was an act of divine eviction. They were removed from your proximity because their character, their energy, and their hidden intentions were entirely incompatible with the massive blessing you are about to step into. If they had stayed, they would have drained the resources meant for your destiny. They would have sabotaged your peace. They would have tethered you to a frequency of drama and pain that you are now graduating from. You must stop mourning the loss of the parasites who disguise themselves as partners. Let them go. Release them entirely from your mind.
Like, subscribe, and comment Amen, and may Jesus fill your life with peace, blessings, and happiness.